EGM Network.
Here we go, folks, again. Another Friday. Podcast 21, National Debt versus Wasteful Spending in the United States Government. Do you think we have wasteful spending, Jess?
I do, Bill.
A little bit anyway, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, remember, Sir Palin is a sponsor here, and we sell the third-party tax certificates. But moving on, the best one going here, Evergreen Media, with Jesse James here. Basically, he's super duper. Let me tell you, I'm going to put him to the test this week, I'll tell you, folks.
Thanks, Bill.
And I never leave home without my American Express, and we don't do podcasts without Jesse James. And by the way, this is podcast number 21, right, Jess?
That's right, number 21.
And who's the Red Sox number 21?
I know Roger Clemens.
Yeah, he was a bum, wasn't he? Went to drugs and everything. I mean, he's a great pitcher, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But once you turn to drugs and stuff like that and getting in the record books because you're taking growth hormone drugs and stuff like that, thumbs down. You should
And
never
he became
be in
a
the Hall of Fame.
Yankee for you Red Sox fans.
Yeah, I don't care. He deserved to be a Yankee. He was a bum when he started doing drugs. Hey, listen, I'm not a Dem. I'm not a Republican. I'm just an American trying to, come up with some facts and tell the truth, okay, which is unusual in this world. Right, Jess?
That's right, Bill.
Like some people say climate change is a hoax. Jess, I don't think it is.
I don't think so either. We got scientific evidence. This is from NASA, still a highly regarded and respected arm of the government, but you can see the climate has warmed up several degrees over the past, what was that, 140 years? Yep. Several degrees, and that's evidence right there for you that the globe is warming.
The globe is warming. Basically, it's going to be a hot summer. Going to be a lot of fires in Western California. Everything's dry. Yeah. Colorado is drying up. And there's no climate, no global warming, folks. I don't know what it is, but, if we lose the snowpack in the Rocky Mountains, there won't be any Colorado River either, in case you folks don't know that. But I'll tell you that anyway. You probably know it, so whatever. Hey, listen, our government spent $2 billion. Remember, this is about wasteful spending, right? Mm-hmm. $2 billion of our taxpayers' money to eliminate windmills that would supply cheap, clean electric energy to the citizens of the United States to pay the taxes. The national debt is approaching $40 trillion. Now, wait a minute. I used to say 40. It's not quite there yet. I was mistaken, so I want to correct that. It's approaching $40 trillion.
Okay.
It's a little over 39 trillion right now, but I think by the end of the year we'll be at 40, maybe 41. I'm looking at 41. That's where my putting the smart money's going. $41 trillion in debt by the end of the year. Remember, in 2032, 6 years from now, the government's not going to have any money with Medicare, Social Security, and so it's going to cut you by 24%, and you're going to pay 100%, right, Jess? You pay 100% into it, but when you get it, you're going to get cut at 24% because you're such a good guy. And I always have a question, Jesse: why billionaires do not pay taxes?
Why don't they? Because they don't have to.
They don't have to, right?
Yeah.
Basically, one of the ways they don't pay taxes is they give paper, highly appreciated paper stock away. They don't make it paper anymore; it's all electronic.
Right.
But in the old days, you used to get a sheet of paper that had a stock certificate, right? And they gift that, and it's highly appreciated, right?
That's right.
And actually, we had a clip last week, and I asked you if you could just bring it up. It's a real quickie.
Yeah, here we go.
I would even think about a tax on philanthropy.
A tax on philanthropy. Well, guess what I found this week, folks? U.S. philanthropy continues to grow, hitting a record in 2025. That's not counting this year, folks.
No.
$617 billion in 2025. Mm-hmm. $617 billion.
For philanthropy, yeah.
That's philanthropy, right? And when they give that away, they get tax write-offs. They get, able to write real cash, gains against their associated gross income, drops it down so they're not paying any taxes. They get that lasts for 5 years. They get the immediate 30% reduction on it. I mean, it's like you can't make this stuff up, right? It's unbelievable. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up. $617 billion in 2025. For the most part, went untaxed. And there should be a fee on that, Jesse. Yeah. 5% to go right into Medicare, Social Security, And those welfare programs, not welfare, but those programs that we all contribute to with our payroll checks.
Sure,
because we don't have enough people working these days, right, Jess?
That's right. That's right.
What's the number? You got it, Jess?
More people retire, and now it's what, 2.5 to 1?
All right, Jess.
2.5 workers to 1 retiree?
You nailed it, Jess. You nailed it. Yeah. Okay. So the super rich get to slide by. That's the way it goes. And as I say, the beat goes on, Jess, right?
That's right. The beat goes on.
Right.
Yeah. So we're talking about the national debt. There is the national debt clock that we could take a look at here.
That's right.
And I'll pull that up for us. So let me take our pictures off so we can see it fully.
Yeah.
But there's the national debt clock. Let me scroll down just a little bit because...
it's okay.
yeah, there it is.
There it is.
That's a huge number.
39,131,961,228,000, and it's going up.
And counting, yeah.
I keep an eye on it in case it never goes down. You know,
Yeah.
it might go down someday, but right now it keeps going up, right, Jeff?
That's right. Hasn't gone down in a while.
Nope, it hasn't.
So that's a problem for America, Bill.
It is.
Yeah. So how do we resolve that? What do we do?
Yeah, what do we do? Just I'm not sure what we do. You know, I was thinking now we could take a look at what happened to Cyprus just as an example. That's an island in the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So let's look at Cyprus.
On a sunny day, it still looks like paradise. The Mediterranean glistens, the cafes are busy, and the band plays on. On days like this, you could almost forget the unfolding catastrophe. Cyprus is broke. The banks are failing. Incredibly, for the first time in the global financial crisis, bank accounts are being raided. People's savings are being seized. Not a bailout, but a bail-in, with bank customers bearing the burden.
Yeah, they talk about a haircut, you know. When this happens, you know, you lose funds you have in the bank, right? And the government's going to take their cut, without a doubt, right? Mm-hmm. And we have something else to follow up on that, right, Jess?
We do here.
On the day of the haircut, what happened to the property market?
Drop in prices from 15 to 20, 25% in one day.
A crash, a one-day crash.
In one day, yes.
Yeah, one-day crash. How do you like that, folks, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it can happen in America, okay? This Cyprus stuff was a trial run for America. And basically, our politicians have adopted the same thing that they used in the Cyprus to be implemented in the United States of America in one of their great big beautiful bills, I guess, you know? So the hard asses, like real asses, drop 25%.
So, Bill, in a financial crisis like this, we've all been told our money's safe in the banks, but will we have access to our cash held by financial institutions?
I don't know. I think I have a little clip on that, what happened in Cyprus.
Global worries stemming from that financial crisis in the Mediterranean nation of Cyprus.
Now, it has stocks sliding across Asia this morning, and it was a major reason for the Dow's 90-point skid yesterday. ABC's Nick Schifrin is in Cyprus, where worry and anger is rampant.
Cyprus is nearly broke, and the social fabric is beginning to tear. Bank workers worried about their future blocked access to parliament. Lawmakers had to be lifted over the barricades. Outside the banks, the lines are long. Customers worried.
You don't have cash now, can't do anything.
The banks haven't opened for 7 days, so Cyprus is becoming a cash society, and yet it's hard to get cash.
No accounts, no cards, no nothing.
So what will they do?
God knows. Suicide.
Increasingly, this is happening. What happened?
There's no money, and I couldn't get any money out, and then my card won't come out.
That's the nightmare that so many are facing.
Yeah, hey, listen, during the 2008 financial crisis, we come pretty close to doing that. You know, when your credit cards don't work and you have no cash, it leads to job losses, right?
That's right.
And I do want you to point out, if you're watching people in Cyprus, they lined up very peacefully in a single file. Somehow in America, I can't see that happen, Jess. I don't know, right?
Yeah, it seems like it would be chaos.
Jess, I want to know, do you think Congress is concerned about the growth of our national debt?
Well, Bill, the United States national debt, it has reached, as we said, approximately $39 trillion, $2 billion. Congress passed the One Big Beautiful Bill, the OBBB Act, in July 2025, which raised the statutory debt limit by $5 trillion to $41.1 trillion to accommodate the growing national borrowing.
Yeah, yeah, they can increase it, but at some point, that's just making a bubble bigger. At some days, it's going to burst, and we're going to have to pay dearly for that, right, Jeff?
That's right. Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
Hey, on a daily basis, how much does the national debt increase, Jess?
So the national debt is growing at a rate of roughly $5 to $6 billion every single day.
$5 to $6 billion, not bad, huh?
Yeah, a lot of money.
Yeah. Hey, in the near term, what's it cost to borrow to pay for the national debt interest?
Well, interest payments on the debt have grown significantly, with watchdogs projecting interest costs up to top $1 trillion.
Yeah, I think we're already there right now, Jess.
So let's take a closer look at the national debt. This is from CBS News.
As we've been reporting, the Senate is taking up a budget bill, which includes changes for laws and programs ranging from Medicaid to the tax code. The national debt stands currently at about $36.2 trillion, and every day, the U.S. spends about $2.6 billion paying the interest on that debt. This is according to the nonprofit, the Peter G. Peterson Foundation.
Yeah, that interest payment. This is an old broadcast.
I was going to
folks.
say, yeah.
I want you to know the interest payment's over $1 trillion today, right? And we're going to move on to another little clip from the same news station.
Yeah.
This is also where fears around breaching the debt ceiling come in. The Treasury is limited by law on how much it can borrow to fund government obligations. If the U.S. hits the debt ceiling and exhausts its emergency cash supply, it might have to stop making payments on things like Social Security because money will be prioritized toward paying creditors to avoid default. The debt has grown so much over the past century, the U.S. has come close to hitting this limit and authorized either suspending it or raising it nearly 80 times since 1960, according to the Treasury Department.
Hey, stop paying Social Security. That's going to hurt a lot of senior citizens by far. Yeah. Prioritizing payments, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. I don't think they'd be funding those just because they're going to have to pay for their national debt because of the abuse of borrowing that they have done. The hardworking Americans lose. Quite frankly, I think hardworking Americans always finish last.
Yeah.
The national debt has been raised 80 times in the last 77 years. Where's the fiscal responsibility here?
Right.
Jess, how do we get here anyway, you know?
Yeah, well, the national debt grew from big spending, tax cuts, and financial help during hard times like the pandemic. You remember COVID. Higher interest rates make it cost more now.
Yeah. National debt will cause inflation. It will hurt all hardworking Americans. Right? The billionaires, it's a little inflation, like whether the gas goes up a gallon, who cares, right?
Yeah, drop in the bucket.
That's right, Jeff.
For them. So experts warn that without changes, interest could grow to $1.8 trillion or more by 2035. Now, this takes money away from schools, roads, hospitals, and other needs. The debt keeps growing fast, and it has added trillions in recent years, Bill.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. You know, my concern, as we all know, if you watch a little podcast here, 2032, Jess, right?
Yeah.
24% cut in Social Security is scheduled right now. And I'm going to guess it's going to happen sooner.
Yeah.
Hey, how much debt per person in the United States? What do you think we have, Jess?
Well, I looked this up, Bill. Every American shares around $113,000 of the national debt.
It's every man, woman, and child?
Yes. It's over $100,000
so if you get
every person.
If you have a 2-year-old, they're already in the hole for $113,000. Well, Jess, I want to know, And politician-wise, where are the so-called conservatives hiding?
That's a good question,
You
Bill.
know, when I was growing up, Barry Goldwater, he was a real conservative, financial conservative, small government, low taxes.
Yeah, small government, right?
It's all gone crazy.
Absolutely.
I think we need a voter revolution.
I do too.
Vote them out, Jess. What do you think?
Vote them out. I'm with you, Bill.
Okay.
I'm with you. In fact, I remember Donald Trump making a bold claim to eliminate national debt back in 2016, his first run for president.
You're right. And I looked that up, and Whoopi Goldberg had a few comments she wanted to make on that, so I'm going to introduce Whoopi.
Donald Trump is trying to shake off his worst week yet on the campaign trail with an interview in the Washington Post. He warns that the country is headed for a massive recession and claims he will get rid of our $19 trillion national debt within 8 years. Now, economists, do I know? No. I'm just telling you what he said. Now, economists say, well, I'm not sure that this is actually realistic, Donald, but, is this talk going to help? I mean, it feels like what you said, like he's going, okay, let's see if I can do this, and throws against the wall.
Jess, I think she nailed it. Everything Donald J. Trump touches turns to crap, as far as I'm concerned.
Well put.
History speaking.
Yep. Here's another clip, I believe, from the same episode of The View back in 2016.
A lot of people have not been paying taxes for years, high taxes. People who are high earners, they need to pay now. And we're included in that.
Can I make a quick point? No, there are no loopholes for me. I have to pay all of my taxes. I don't get a loophole. I don't get to write anything off. I watch these guys, these
Mm-hmm.
kafillionaires, who say, oh, yeah, I only paid $5 in tax. I want to slap the hell out of them.
I agree with her, too. The billionaires, they skate by, right? And they smile at you, and they're making tons of money, right?
Right, yeah.
and they skip by the tax system. Oh, it doesn't, or billionaires, we don't have to pay. Billionaires control the tax system, folks. So hardworking Americans need to have a financial support from them in regards to funding the Social Security program that we're currently in place, because we don't have enough revenue coming in right now, and it's going to fail. This can be done through assessing fees of financial transactions. Why not? Yes, what do you think? Yeah. Why not assess some fees?
Why not assess some fees? I'm with you.
Okay, I'm just checking. You can be against me if you want. That's okay. They avoid paying taxes. Well, let me catch that. They avoid paying taxes like us, hardworking Americans.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to finish that up.
Yeah.
Jesse, what in the heck is a bail-in?
A bail-in, yeah. I had never heard of that. I heard of bailouts, but I haven't heard of bail-ins. But we have this clip from Charles Payne.
Fox guy. Imagine that.
Yeah. It's my money. I'm allowed to withdraw from my own bank account. Yeah, so you said that what's the maximum limit you can give a withdrawal to a customer? It's $3,000 on the date. You've already mentioned that multiple times.
Yeah, not today.
Why not today?
Wow, folks, that's a video going viral TikTok. That's the Bank in Canada refusing to give a customer money. I mean, it was his money. And, we've talked a lot on this show and for a while now with respect to inflation in the market, but, what doesn't get enough attention is the social impact. There's a direct correlation, for instance, with higher inflation and homicide rates. And, of course, we continue to talk about this big spike in the so-called Big Mac indicator. By the way, that's also minimum wage. There was a time when we used to worry about this stuff. This is the cover of Time magazine, March 13th, 1972. It says, is the U.S. going broke? Now, the article begins with the statement, can a nation with $1 trillion economy be running out of money? By most measures of private wealth, the U.S. is the richest country, but in terms of its ability to pay for the public services, health care, education, welfare, garbage pickup, pollution control, police, fire protection that make the life of its citizens pleasant or at least tolerable, or in some cases even possible, the country seems almost to be going broke.
Yeah. Hey, listen, he mentioned TikTok, right? We got new owners of TikTok, and they're real friends of Donald Trump. So, that type of broadcast that was on there may not come out because it may not reflect well on our current president, because they're going to be controlling the message to everybody. Mm-hmm. And we are broke, folks. The crap has hit the fan. Will be everyone's personal nightmare, okay, when this bubble bursts. We have uncontrollable spending on the military. As you can tell by the Iran war, right?
That's right.
I mean, it's unbelievable the money they're going through there.
Yeah.
And our endless wars, we keep getting involved for some reason. Donald Trump promised he wouldn't go to war, but Netanyahu, I think he talked him into it, just said, we're going to take over the world,
Yeah.
We'll have more on that in another podcast, by the way. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure out we are broke. Right, Jess?
We are broke, yeah. And what I thought Charles Payne said was interesting. There used to be a time where we cared about this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Right. So here's a clip from Richard Wolff that kind of goes into more depth about what a bail-in actually is.
A clearer explanation.
Yeah, here we go.
Bail-ins. Let me explain quickly what that is. Banks have a hard time because they often make terrible mistakes. That is, they invest money by loaning it out to people and businesses who can't pay it back. When that happens, the bank is supposed to use the capital of the people who got together to create the bank, the capital of shareholders if they sell shares to the public, to deal with their mistakes, to fix the damage of folks they lent to who can't pay it back. It's the job of the bank not to lend to people who can't pay it back. So when they don't get repaid, like happened on a massive scale in 2008 and 9, you know what the banks do. They don't want to use up their own money, so they go to the government to get a bailout. The problem is the politicians who give banks big bailouts, as they did, get to be hated by the mass of people who understand very well what's going on. That private banks, to make private money, want the government to bail them out, and they don't want to have to do it. But the banks don't want to do it, so here's what the banks and the politicians got together. They found another sucker. You know who it is? The depositor. It turns out that the laws have been rewritten, starting with a bank in Cyprus that went belly up a few years ago, to allow banks, when they can't recover money they lent and should not have lent, they don't now have to go to the government to get a bailout. They can get a bail-in. You know what that is? Taking money from the depositors who put money in the bank and simply taking it to recoup their own capital that they can't get back from the people they lent to. Is it legal to have a bail-in, to take the money of the depositor and not give it back to them? The answer is yes. In many countries, including the United States, the laws now allow a bail-in. Should that upset you?
Hey, just an FYI, I have a Chase account, and we put the mortgage documents in and your life insurance documents and that type of stuff. In a safety deposit box. I've had it since 2009. I got a notice this year, and I had to close it. They kicked me out. Now, why would Chase kick somebody out of a safety deposit? Closing all the boxes. Why would they do that, Jess?
I don't know. They're not making enough money out there, I guess.
No, they could try anything they want, actually. Yeah. The bottom line is, when you think about it, right, maybe they know something we don't know. Because if the bubbles burst, don't expect if you've got money in a safety deposit box, it's going to be safe. The government will have access to that. They'll shut down the banks, they'll go and open everything out, and they'll take what they want, and they'll leave you a note of a receipt that they took it. And then walk on, and you'll lose everything. So maybe Chase is protecting their customers by saying, hey, we're not going to be involved with that. Close the boxes. Everybody's going to be gone. No safety boxes in Chase. So that's the way I look at it, Jess.
Yeah.
That could happen. Don't kid yourself, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Jess, let's check that national debt clock again if we can. Just I want to see what's going on.
All right, let me pull that national debt clock up. Just give me a second here. There it is.
There it is.
There's a live look.
Yeah, national debt clock, right? That's up about $176 billion in the last 30 minutes, folks. Well, it's only 23, so it's probably only $150 billion. $150 billion in the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Okay, let's go with the Congressman David Schwartz. See what he's got.
Yeah, he's got the debt monitor on his website here.
How much? What's that?
Yeah.
Is that a week? 98,000?
It says, the national debt, the total national debt has grown by $98,001.86 per second for the past year.
Anybody good in multiplication? Multiply that out. It's $98,000 a second. You blink your eye. It's flying by, baby.
Yeah.
And it's getting bigger. It's not getting smaller, right?
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, wasteful spending, Jess. Can we talk about wasteful spending? I heard that President Trump was, he's going to make a fleet of Trump ships.
Absolutely, yeah. I read the U.S. Navy expects to spend a total of $43.5 billion on the battleship program over a 5-year period, with future estimates suggesting that constructing a planned fleet of 15 ships by 2055 could exceed $255 billion.
Yes, where's the money going to come from?
That's a good question.
We don't tax billionaires. They get all the money.
Yeah, right.
I guess this is going to be up to us hardworking Americans
I think so.
to pay for these battleships, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
And you know what will happen? They won't have enough money. They'll borrow it, and the national debt's going up even more. And we get something, a ballroom clip, Jeff?
Yeah. So not only do we have battleships, we've got a ballroom we got to pay for.
That's right.
I'm going to go
It's
now
amazing,
to new questions about the cost of President Trump's ballroom and who's paying for it. The Washington Post reports that half the cost will be covered by taxpayer dollars, even though the president said it would be built with no taxpayer money. Chief White House correspondent Mary Krisse is tracking this for us. And Mary, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael. And you said it. President Trump has repeatedly promised that his massive new ballroom will be paid for entirely by private donations, estimating it will cost $400 million. But this morning, the Washington Post reports that the contractor building the ballroom puts the total price tag at $600 million, with half of that amount coming from the American taxpayers. Now, despite his repeated claims that this project wouldn't cost taxpayers a dime, Trump is asking Congress for $1 billion in taxpayer money to cover security upgrades associated with the project.
Hey, Jess, $1 billion here, $1 billion here. The Congress, we don't have any money. You got national debt. We'll just borrow it, right?
Sure.
Borrow a bill, give it to Trump, and then he can do what he wants with it, I guess. But then he'll come back and probably want more, right?
Absolutely.
You know what's absolutely disgusting about this? Tearing down that East Wing, maybe it needed to be torn down, but there was a process that you should go through to have it done correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, no, we don't follow any rules or regulations. We just do what we want. He tore it down. And I don't know what it cost to tear down, but I bet you it cost a pretty penny.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah. Hey, I hear the president might have a new jet.
He does. Yes.
But with the extraordinary devotion of many of you here today, this plane was transformed into a flying White House at a level of luxury that nobody's ever seen before.
A level of luxury, right? That's
nice.
really great, isn't it? I like to hear president, we want the man comfortable, Just,
I guess
he's
so.
spending a lot of time flying over to Israel, tucking Netanyahu and trying to get him off the hook for being prosecuted, But so far, he hasn't been successful with that. But there's an election coming up in November, and if he wins, he'll get himself off the hook, right?
Yeah.
The plane is estimated to be $400 million, folks. The U.S. government has overhauled it, and the cost for more than $1 billion. You know the iron of it? He's got to keep the plane.
I know it.
Not a bad deal, huh?
Right.
Gets it for nothing. Spends $1 billion of hardworking American taxpayers, and he's going to take it down in Florida here in Palm Beach County, park it down there, I guess.
Yeah. Incredible.
Well, hey, listen, he fixed the reflecting pool. Got to give the guy make credit, right, Jess?
Yeah. About the reflecting pool, Bill.
What's that, Jess? What's that?
Finally, there has been concerns that President Trump handpicked the contractors for this project. He's denied knowing them. According to PolitiFact, the Interior Department says the company selected was the only one with the expertise, staff, and materials to complete the project on time.
Yeah, you want to believe that? I'll sell you a bridge. Okay, Jess, let's go on. All right.
It seems like taxpayers are going to end up paying a lot of money there for this, Mary. And Mary, there's some trouble with this newly renovated Lincoln reflecting pool.
Michael, the president just spent $15 million in taxpayer money to paint the bottom of the reflecting pool, quote, American flag blue. But this morning, the water is green, overrun by algae. Workers have been out spotted trying to clean it up. The National Park Service dumping hydrogen peroxide into the water. Now, in a statement, when asked about this, the White House tells us that they are deploying, quote, a high-tech nanobubble ozone technology to kill that algae and keep the reflecting pool crystal clear.
That original bid was like $1.6 billion for the project. It's already up to $16 million.
Yeah.
But, if Trump knew the guy, I'm sure the guy wouldn't have charged him. But he doesn't know him, right? He said that, did he, Jess?
Right.
Let's see what else we got coming up about
Repairs
this
are adding to the
pool.
already over-budget project, totaling more than $16 million after a pair of no-bid contracts. One went to the company run by Trump donor J.J. Cafaro, called, get this, Greenwater Services, which previously has done work at the president's private golf clubs.
Yeah, he doesn't know him, just right.
No.
But since then, the campaign finder indicated that Mr. Cafaro has given more than $300,000 to political committees connected to Mr. Trump. When the President Mar-a-Lago hosted a party, the lavish International Red Cross Ball in 2017, Mr. Caro's wife, Janet, she was the chairman of the event. But he doesn't know these people. He never heard of them. You know, they're picking the best contractors they can. That's what the government does, right?
That's
Not
right.
this government.
And no bids, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what about the Kennedy Center? We making any money on that? What's going on?
Right, yeah. So, Trump says the Kennedy Center renovation was supposed to cost $200 million. And now the Kennedy Center is experiencing plummeting ticket sales. Sharp declines. Data from the Washington Post and the New York Times showed roughly 43% of tickets remaining unsold during the fall season, leaving over $1 million in potential revenue on the table during a 45-day window. Also,
Great, yes.
Yes. Also, subscriptions have dropped. Subscription revenues dropped significantly, with theater subscriptions plunging by over 80% compared to prior years.
Yeah, it was doing so good because Trump became chairman of the board of the Kennedy Center. Remember, he put his name on it, and then we had to take it off. I don't know what that cost us, but I'm sure it cost us a pretty penny, right?
I'm sure.
To get that up, on and off and whatever, and go to court. And they spent a lot of money on court stuff, fighting to get this stuff back. But I don't think it's going to win that one. Bill, Jess.
Yes.
Do tax cut affect the national debt?
The 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was initially scored by the Congressional Budget Office and the Joint Committee on Taxation to increase federal deficits by about $1.5 trillion over its first decade. When including interest costs and macroeconomic feedback, the estimated deficit impact during that initial 10-year budget window was closer to $1.8 to $2.3 trillion that it added to the debt.
Yeah, as you heard earlier from Whoopi, Trump had a plan. He was going to make the national debt zero in 8 years. Well, we're at close to 40 trillion, heading maybe 41 trillion pretty quick. So
going the wrong way.
He's gonna be a stretch runner like the Kentucky Derby winner. He's come flying down the stretch and wipe it out in the last 3 years of his presidency. I bet. Huh?
I'm sure that's gonna happen.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Hey, we got that wonderful, beautiful bill that he passed.
Yeah, the big, beautiful bill here is from the PBS NewsHour.
To look at what President Trump's budget bill, which he calls the big, beautiful bill, means for the U.S. debt. Congressional correspondent Lisa Desjardins joins us now from the super screen to explain it all. So, Lisa, if this passes, it would be the largest bill in dollar terms in U.S. history. Just kick us off with what the money involved is here.
Right. For Republicans, this is part of answering what they see as a potential crisis, the end of the Trump tax cuts. The question is this something that adds to a different potential crisis, an American debt crisis? So let's look at the money flow in this bill, and let's start with the tax cuts. First of all, Republicans are, in fact, adding some new tax cuts here. Those are the no taxes on tips, overtime, some benefits for seniors. These tax cuts are significant. However, they pale in comparison to the biggest cost in the bill. That is extending those Trump tax cuts. Altogether, the Congressional Budget Office says the tax cuts in this bill add up to $3.7 trillion. That's good news in that that's money taxpayers could keep, but it's also bad news because it comes out of the federal budget and potentially could add to deficits. So, did Republicans pay for this in the bill? According to CBO, no. The money saved in this bill from the cuts, the spending cuts, is $1.3 trillion. Now, this is a significant, historically large number of spending cuts. Healthcare cuts, we've been talking about Medicaid, green energy, student loans. This is a big number, but it is much smaller than the amount being spent here. So overall, Congressional Budget Office says this bill would add $2.4 trillion to the deficit, and that is even before you consider interest costs.
We know what the interest costs are about, right, all you folks? Hey, cuts to clean energy, Medicare, fossil fuels, basically pollutants, right? They make people sick. Mm-hmm. It seems like the president has lost his interest in the well-being of the American people. $2.4 trillion to the national debt. Now, I'm running overtime, so I'm going to wrap this up real quick, Jess, if that's okay with you.
All right.
The first term president's birthday recently, right? It was $45 million, a happy birthday for the parade, the military parade. Remember that, Jeff?
Yeah, the military
Only cost us $45 million. That wasn't a bad deal, right?
Right.
And now we had another birthday prize where he came in and probably spent $60 million doing the fight night at the White House.
Right, yeah, the UFC, yeah.
And the last thing he's working on, which hasn't quite yet been approved, but expected to be $100 million, the Trump Arch. Everything's Trump. He puts his picture in it. There it is. Hey, there's Donald. All right, Donald. That's all I got you. Hey, listen, you got to get out and vote. You got to get out and get these guys out of office. These people they cave to him all the time. So get rid of the representatives. Get rid of the senators. God bless America.